Oh, well, hello there, Rip City. Not the way I wanted to jump on this show and talk to you tonight as the Blazers get throttled in their season opener, their home opener, all of the game 1 of 82, game 1 of 41 here at Moda Center. And the Blazers, man, they just came out the gates. I don't know what happened. Wasn't really slow because they started all right. They had an 8-1 lead at one point, and things were looking up. Oh, boy. Then it kind of went crazy. I don't know why I'm getting songs in my ear there, Shacker. Come on now. But no, what a crazy, crazy night for the Blazers. You're going to hear from Coach Billups here in a little bit, and he said, nothing about this game was good. Nothing about this game was good. Welcome into the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. You can follow me on X at Chris J. Burkhardt. You can also go on YouTube.com, type in Rip City Radio, where you can join the chat there as well, where most people are jumping in. And as Jason says, that was a booty whooping. That was a booty whooping, and it absolutely was. The Blazers, I thought, again, in the first quarter, things were looking all right. But I think we've all been through this enough times to understand how this story goes, right? And what I mean by that is the fact that the Blazers got out early, and then the Warriors just started to slowly chip away here and there, grab a little hit, grab a hit, grab a hit, grab a hit. And next thing you know, it's tied at the end of the first quarter. And you're like, yeah, here we go again. This is the story of playing the Golden State Warriors. This is just what happens. They come at you. They just find your little holes in the armor, and then eventually they get all the way through, and they knock you out. And that's what happened in this one. And it was pretty much from everybody all the way down the line. When you look at the box score, Andrew Wiggins had a great night. He had 20 points. Steph Curry, he was just 4 of 10 shooting. He wasn't even asked to do much, and he ended up getting 17 points, 14 points from Trace Jackson Davis, 8 from Draymond Green, who got a technical in this one. One game into the season, Draymond Green has a technical. That is definitely on brand. And I say that, though, joking a little bit, because Draymond's good. He changes the game. He does what he's supposed to do as a great defender, an all-time and a Hall of Fame type player. He might be in there one day. Jonathan Kuminga had 10 points off the bench, though, man. I said this, I believe I said this pregame. If not, I know I've said it in passing with friends, and I was like, Klay Thompson has been kind of a shell of his former self over the last few years for the Warriors, and now he's over there in Dallas, see if he can rekindle it. But when you lose a guy like Klay, how do you replace him? And they being the Warriors, went and got Buddy Hield, who has been one of the best three-point shooters his entire career in the NBA. He's been absolutely phenomenal, just a perfect player for this roster. And what's he doing this one? He comes in off the bench, 22 points, 5 of 7 from deep. He's going to fit in very, very well for the Warriors. But enough about the Warriors. Let's look at the Blazers box score, shall we? I don't know. Did anything stand out to you in this one that you did like? Because I know Coach had nothing that he liked in this one. He was not very happy. And again, we'll hear from him here in just a little bit on the Coach's Corner. But looking at the Blazers box score, Toumani Camara had 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 16 points from Jeremy Grant, 10 points and 11 rebounds from DeAndre Ayton, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists from Denny Advia. Anthony Simons had 15 on a rough shooting night, 2 of 7 overall from deep for Ant, 5 of 12 overall from the floor. 22 points from Scoot Henderson, who had a team worst minus 30 in the plus-minus, but he did make some tough shots. I did like that. If you want to find some positive, I thought Scoot did make some tough shots. Put some good English on the ball a few times, got it to roll in on the lay-ins. I like that. I like the fact that Toumani Camara hit his first 2 catch-and-shoot threes, which is a part of his game. He can continue to build, and he'll only get better. But outside of that, man, just not a lot of good in this one. I think if you really want to get down to it, the best part of this one was Dwap Reith hitting the late three-pointer that let Blazer fans go home with nuggets. That was it. That was it. But I will think that, again, I think this team has potential to at least be fun. We know they're going to lose games. They are absolutely going to lose games. That effort, though, that one can't happen. That was not good. Pretty bad. Not a good taste in your mouth if you're a Blazer fan in this one at all. at all as the Blazers fall to the Golden State Warriors 139-104. If you want to get in on the conversation, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. You can also hit me up on X at Chris J. Burkhardt, where you can continue the conversation there with me all night. I'll text you or tweet at you before I get home, and then do whatever we need to do to wipe the taste of this one out of our mouth, because it wasn't very fun. We'll take a quick break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, we'll head to the Coach's Corner. Hear what Coach Billups had to say following this not so good, very bad, you don't like it, 139-104 loss to the the Warriors. Oh man, not the way to start at all. It's got me flustered. I wanted to come in here and talk about a win or at least a close game. This one sucks. Can I say that on radio? Yes, I can. More of a joke. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Plenty more fifth quarter here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, YouTube, how you looking out there? Let's pop this audio down. That was a little hot, huh? Rick says vote red. I mean, if that means Blazer red, I'm not going to get political with you. Vote however you want. But if you want to vote Blazer red, why not? Why not? Let's see, Jason. Who's the big dog on the floor? Do we have one? Not right now. You don't have anyone standing out. Hey, can you turn down the ads in my ear, please? Yeah, you. Can you turn them down in my ear? What? Yeah, can you turn the audio in my ear down? That's super loud. There you go. Thank you. I'm talking to YouTube during the break now. Han says after the first quarter they look so lost on defense. It's really weird, Han. They did, and then in the end of the game, what was going on? It was like, yeah, it was the garbage time minutes, but it was like cherry pick fast break bucket after fast break bucket, not even getting back on defense. Really weird. And again, Coach Billups talked about a post game. We're going to listen to him as soon as we get back from break here, but he talked about just like being 2 steps behind, which felt really, really weird for that team. So yeah. Oh, we got Portland wrestling talk going on. I like that. Slow Boiling Frog says, love you, Chris. Appreciate it. But why isn't Chad doing the fifth quarter? So we move stuff around. So I'm hosting game day in the fifth quarter now because Chad has been promoted, if you will, to the pre-halftime and post-game show for the Trailblazers. So you hear him before you hear the fifth quarter. You hear him after game day, and you hear him during the entire game with Travis. So awesome for him. But at some point, that voice needs a little bit of a break, right? So I'm taking advantage of it, and I get a chance to be here. So I'm glad you love me, but that's the reason Chad's gone. I know people don't like change, right? They don't like change. Inner Imposter, will Chad be doing fifth quarter this year as well? That kind of answers your question. So I am now the host of the fifth quarter. But there are going to be a handful of games, especially in the next few weeks with the high school championships coming up, that he will be filling in for me. So you'll see him. Don't worry. I'll convince him to come up here as well so he can come co-host with me so you guys don't miss him. Jason says he heard Chad during the broadcast and enjoyed it. Yeah, that's cool. It's good, awesome for him, man. He loves this team and loves covering them, and now he gets a chance to be part of those broadcasts. And we're all one big happy team here having some fun. So he'll be on. Don't you guys worry. You'll get sick of me eventually. Send your hate mail to chaddoing@iheartmedia.com. How much longer we got, Shaq? Cool. You're gonna come back with shot of the night. How about shot of the night, and then I'll toss to Coach's Corner. How about that? Yeah, I'll give you one more segment. I'll give you one more segment. That's fine. All right, YouTube. I'm going quiet. We're gonna be back from radio for radio in just a second. Don't you love this YouTube though? I can talk to you during commercial breaks instead of putting an ad on, right? Have some fun with you guys. Be back on radio here in just a sec. There was your shot of the night. Welcome back into the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt, sitting here with you breaking down this 139-104 loss for your Portland Trailblazers in their season opener to the Golden State Warriors. And a big shout out to everyone joining us in the YouTube chat right now. Some of them go by their real names, or at least I'm assuming, like Marcus and Jason and Rick. Some of them go by their fake names, like Slow Boiling Frogs. That's a name right there. That is a name right there. But enjoy you guys keeping up the chat. And the cool part about the YouTube chat right now is because I have it set up on the camera that I'm pointing at right now, when you guys cut the break, it doesn't go to a commercial for YouTube. I just sit there and talk to you because I can, and that's awesome. And that's where we have some fun chats. So that's pretty awesome. So get the chats going right there. Where Iron Rods just jumps in and says we deserve better. And I know Iron Rod. I know he's not talking about me or Chad. He's talking about that performance tonight. And I'm right there with you. That's. It's not great. Oh, gosh. Slow Boiling Frogs doing on-air producing, telling me YouTube sounds scratchy. I'm doing my best, my friend. I'm doing my best. I'll do my best to get the audio perfect for you as we keep moving forward here. But Iron Rod is perfectly right in that assessment. We deserve better. It was just not fun. It's just not fun when they go out there. And I said, I pretty much think this team's going to be able to give you fun basketball. I know they're going to lose, but they're going to give you fun basketball. Not tonight. Not tonight whatsoever. 139-104 is the final score in favor of the Golden State Warriors. And Iron Rod says this game is better than the game itself, this show. And I want to do my best to make it like that all the time. But the bar felt like it was set pretty low, did it not? Did it not? This one was just unfortunate. And we'll hear from Coach in the next segment as Shacker is working hard over there getting it recorded and ready to go. But he wasn't very happy in the post-game presser. Talked about how this felt like for the first time in the last month. You know, you have preseason, you have your training camps, you show up every day. He said the first time in that time span that he felt like the team wasn't ready. And that's just a weird feeling, he said, for him. It didn't make much sense. The team felt like they were a step or two slow on defense all night long. And that's how Golden State plays. They like to put you into those positions and make you work extra hard. But the team just top to bottom didn't look great. And, I mean, I don't know where you point the finger in this one. Some will say coach. Some say it's a lineup. Some say it's talent. It doesn't really matter what the problem was. The result was what it was, and it wasn't very good. I believe that was the biggest home opening loss in Blazers franchise history. And Shacker was telling me, because he was working with the Warriors broadcast, that is the biggest season opening victory in Warriors history as well. So not a great night for Blazer fans all the way around. I would say the highlight in this one, though, for Blazer fans, again, related to the Warriors, I did like the little tribute video that they got out there for Terry Stotts. I think a lot of people may have forgotten that he was on Coach Kerr's staff now, and it was good to see him. I know the crowd was pretty hyped. They gave him a very good ovation when they showed him up on the screen after they gave him the little tribute video. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to see. But other than that, yeah, just a tough night. And like Hans says, you know, like, I don't know whose fault this is. He says, I thought that's the coach's job. And that's right. That's right. I mean, that's your job. You are the bus driver, right? So if you're the one driving the bus and the bus goes off the road, you can't blame the people sitting behind the bus driver, right? It's the bus driver's job. It was his job to keep it on the road. So, yeah, it's preparation. I think it's youth. This is a very young team, and sometimes it's just thinking you can show up, and you can show up and just play basketball, and things are going to go your way. That wasn't the case tonight. I think this team is good enough to rebound and have a good performance on Friday when they get to Game 2 against the Pelicans. But if this holds up all year, then it's going to be unfortunate because it's going to be a very, very long season if it doesn't get fixed. Like I said, I have no problem with losses, right? And I know Blazer fans, that at least the Blazer fans I talk to, I think a lot of the Blazer fans in the chat as well, they don't mind losses, especially with the current landscape of the team. You understand losses are going to happen. But losing like you did tonight, where it just nothing seemed to gel, nothing seemed to work. The defense, which had kind of been a good calling card in the preseason, and you hung your cap on as that was going to be your thing, it wasn't moving well. It was doing nothing for you. That's unfortunate. That's not what you want. if you play good basketball and you lose, that's okay. You play bad basketball and you lose, that one hurts. And Rick is over here chiming in. I'm gonna have to use my authority to ban him from our chats. Okay, he says let's talk Timbers 5-0 loss. Like, no, don't just pour salt in the wound to Portland sports fan Rick. That's not very nice. But we're having fun here because you know what, fans. There's still 81 games left. They're gonna get some wins. I hope they'll play better. Keep in mind this Warrior team. If we're being completely honest, they're not a slouch. They're not a slouch. They're good. Steph Curry's still good. Andrew Wiggins, still good. Draymond Green, old, but still good. If Kuminga has a bounce back year, which he should, right? They got DeAnthony Melton. They got Kyle Anderson, who's a good fit. Obviously, Moses Moody. Brandon Pajemski, who's a lot of people love him. He didn't have a point tonight, but he was all over the place when he did play. Loved watching him move around the court. And then obviously Buddy Hield, who's a great acquisition. That's a playoff team. That's a playoff team. Rick says, it was a bad night for Blazer fans or sports fans, so I started with Portland wrestling. Good move. Is it safe to be skeptical of Scoot yet? And that's what Inner Imposter says on the chat. And again, my take on Scoot is the same as it was during the preseason. I'm not worried, but I am cautious. There's signs there that are just starting to be frustrating, right? Still trying to move too fast and not letting the game slow down. The biggest thing any NBA player can do to improve is find a way to let the game slow down, and the game is just not slowing down for him. And I don't understand what it is. He looks nothing like the player that we saw in highlights coming into the draft. But the thing is, like, you see it, and you're like, I can see why you would draft him. I can see why you're high on him. He's built like a tank, right? When he wants to, I think his handles are phenomenal. He can attack the rim. There's just something missing. There is something missing. I think sometimes you gotta unleash it, man. Take the chains off, I don't know, and just let it fly free. And eventually maybe you'll get the best version of Scoot when you can just let him go do what he does. I don't know the answer, but if you want to be skeptical, you wouldn't be alone. I'll tell you that, absolutely. People looking for Blazers to have an alpha, this and that. I get it. I'm not going to be too upset after the first loss, but you're right. You need that guy to stick out. You need that guy to be the guy, right? You need that guy to be the guy. That's what was that was what you lacked last year as well. But you got Dame. When you had Dame, you had that alpha, right? And I think even when you had CJ McCollum, you had a guy who, when Dame was out, he'd step in there and be fine, right? It's a weird lineup, a weird roster, a weird vibe in game one. But you know what? It's just game one. We've seen worse. Yeah, I mean, you've seen teams come out the gate and get throttled before and go on to have great seasons. I've watched my Red Sox go out the gate and be terrible the first week of the season, first 2 weeks of the season, and then end up having a great season. It's a long one, fans. It's an absolutely long one. And the Blazers on Friday get the Pelicans, who now will be out without DeJounte Murray, who was feared to have broken his hand, I believe is what Shams Charania tweeted earlier tonight. So that's unfortunate. Zion didn't play tonight due to illness, so who knows if you'll even see him on Friday. But, yeah, overall, just the vibes were great in this building during the pregame show. Fans were excited. And when they left, not so much. That was a tough pill to swallow. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, we're going to head to the coach's corner. That's right, Shacker. Get ready for it. Get ready to roll. We're going to hear less of me and more of Coach Billups coming up on the fifth quarter. Sounds good. All right, we're going to go back to YouTube here while we're on a commercial break for radio, see what you guys have to say. Han says he saw Shaden Sharp's interview yesterday. Seems a lot more mature and confident. That's great. I just want to see him on the court now. But maturity and confidence go a long way. Maybe he's the alpha the team's missing. Farmer's Daughter mentions this is the 82 game tank. Capture the flag in full effect, right? Hey, another 20-year-old isn't going to help this team if we tank. I don't know about that, Iron Rod. Just because Flag's really good. He's real good. And he's the type of guy I think he's going to help any team he gets on. So I'm less worried about the age in that one and the fact that, yeah, that's a good guy. And this draft in general, there's a lot of guys who can come in and help. I think I look at that core, and if Shea's ready to roll and – you got Klingon going, who I think is going to be a very good player. Denny Avia. You got pieces. You got to be patient there. But you can only tell people to be patient for so long. So I totally get you. I totally get where you don't want to do that. All right, what else we got? Let's see. Sharp can't stay healthy. He's got some lingering injuries. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But no, I'm not necessarily out on going young again, though. Because again, I think Cooper Flag and the rest of this draft's really good with a lot of good players that could impact. Like I think look back at the Scoot Henderson draft, okay? And this has nothing to do with Scoot. Let's just go right back into the draft before we know anything about how Scoot's going to look through a year in the league. But going into that draft, I mean, I for one was very vocal. I'm sure you guys remember, but I wanted Charlotte to do the dumb thing and draft the point guard, even though they had one in LaMelo, because I thought Brandon Miller was a great fit for the Blazers. And you take if you would have took Miller, not have traded Dame, and you get this super long wing, super athletic, he can shoot, he can defend, and you put him next to Dame, your team would have been better. Your team would have been better. He had a great rookie season, and I think he's only going to get better. So there are times when that young 20-year-old is definitely going to help your roster. Definitely going to help your roster. Yeah, and a Cooper Flag type would definitely be that type of guy. And so if you put him, who's he's like a small forward, power forward tweener, Donovan Klingon. Again, Denny Avdia is super young. You guys forget that. I think he's a building block because he's such a good playmaker in the long run. And then you figure out what your guard situation is. There's still positives to take out of that. No positives out of this one, though, out of this home opening loss. Woof, let me tell you what. Alrighty, welcome back into the fifth quarter. It is time now to head to the coach's corner. Enough of me talking. Let's hear what Coach Billups had to say following this 139-104 loss to the Warriors.
Played so fast, and they were just kind of all over the place. We were spinning like a top, trying to run back to a matchup as opposed to just run back to a man. And they had a huge quarter, on us to open the game up. And had another huge quarter in the third quarter, so we just couldn't keep up. But it was very disappointing. I didn't think one guy on our team played well in the game.
Chauncey, the runouts were a problem in preseason. They seemed to be snuffed out for the first quarter, and then after that, it seemed to really open up. What do you think is the root cause of that?
It's a lack of focus. I mean, that was one of our main focuses in the game today. Is on shots, the first three steps. You got to sprint. You cannot jog back. You can't backpedal back. The first three steps have to be a sprint. And so it was a lack of focus, in my opinion. We talked about it. We knew that was the strength of theirs. And it certainly paid off for them pretty big time tonight.
Chauncey, you talked about, trying to improve shooting before the season, 8 for 34 from deep tonight. But did you like the looks that they got? You kind of talked before the season about getting the looks, just not always hitting.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the shots that we got from three, but, I would say probably I liked 60% of them. The other 40 were just kind of rushed and were kind of end of a shot clock. I mean, it just, we didn't catch and shoot, be able to set our feet, have a great look. But then for the most part, shoot, Ant, he's 2 for 7. I thought he had some really good looks. I thought Jeremy had some really good looks. Those are our best 2 shooters. And when those 2 dudes struggle from 3, it makes it pretty tough the way that we're built.
You're talking about effort and focus after a game one. Where do you look to with such just the beginning of the road? Where do you look to?
It's just a game. It's just a game. If I'm being honest, that's the very first time that I could tell you in a month that we've had a lack of focus or that a team played harder than us. You always worry about the first game, man. You really do. There's so much that goes on. There's so many jitters. It's so much. So I'm not, it's not the end of the world, but it does suck, to play that way against a division foe, but I tell you what, these are times when you can teach the most, when you can teach the best. And we came into this game and we had a good preseason. So did the Warriors, and then they came out and showed us that their experience, their toughness. I just thought that's another thing that really bothered me. Like, we were going to the basket, they didn't call a foul, we crying to the referees, they running out getting threes. I say this about us, most of the time we play certain teams, punish criers. They're going to cry to the refs and be doing all of this, boom, get out, go run and score. They did it to us all night. So it's just a very uncharacteristic in a lot of ways for us in this game. But tomorrow we'll talk about it. We'll get back to it.
Without having watched the tape back yet, but you're kind of ranking the things that you need to address tomorrow. What do you start with?
Everything. The base of it is we should never leave our gym thinking that somebody just completely outplayed us, in terms of just the fight. We have to be the hardest playing team when we're out there to give ourselves a chance. And we didn't even get close to that tonight. So you start there, and then you can talk about some of the particulars, the rebounding, the leak. We can go down a long list.
And there you have Coach Billups after the game talking about that loss. And like I told you, he said the team just didn't feel ready. They didn't know what was going on. They weren't in a position to succeed. They were multiple steps behind, and it just not the way you want to start a season. Not the way you want to start a season at all. A terrible feeling for Blazer fans. We got to do this 81 more times, though. 81 more times of this, Chad. That's right. Hey, look at it. He's right here, guys. The YouTube chat was really worried. They're like, whoa, I like you, Burkhardt, but where's Chad in the 5th quarter? I'm going to have to own this thing. We've had some fun. At least the show was fun. We'll be back at it on Friday when the Blazers take on the Pelicans. Tip-off at 7 o'clock. Game day starts at 5 o'clock. Then you'll have Chad on the Blazers audio network getting you ready. And then, of course, we'll be right back here for the 5th quarter, hopefully breaking down the first win of the Trailblazer season. You guys have been awesome. We'll talk to you on the next one.